So the first cut over here was one double cut. Then I tried 2 double cuts, 3 double cuts, and 4 double cuts. On the 4th double cut, it actually did cut through the shrink film. So I'm going to now try the same thing with a 5 double cut. As you can see here, it cut through, but it didn't cut through the backing, the plastic backing. So I'm going to try that one more time. So what I do is I just move the circle down further on the mat in the software. I'm going to send it to my Cameo 5 times without removing the mat. That was one time. That was 2 times. That was 3 times. Four times, and this is going to be number 5. Hopefully this has cut through. Well, it did the same as with the 4 multi-cuts. It cuts through the shrink film, but it doesn't cut through the backing here. So I guess that's the best it's going to do. With a circle it's fine, but if you have more complex designs, that's not going to work out very well, because as you pull it away, it's going to rip the shrink film. So other people have said that they have had success with shrink film. I've never had success with shrink film with my Cameo. So that could just be that. It's just that my machine won't do it. It doesn't have enough force, it just can't do it. So I've gone back and looked at all of these cuts again, and I'm actually able to pull away the shrink film, but again, not with the plastic backing. And sometimes it didn't pull all of it away, as you can see here from that little bit left over there. This was 2 times, so that didn't work well. 3 times. And it just ripped the plastic, it didn't pull it away properly. This was the 4 times, like I said. And then the 5th time. So it looks like cutting it multiple times really didn't make any difference. It looked like on the very first try, it already did that, except there was a little bit not catching everything. Now I'm cutting chipboard, and I'm going to start with just a single double cut. Alright, so even though my material is not being touched by the rollers, as you can see here on the right and on the left, it was still skewing the material around. So I'm going to use a smaller piece and start from there. Okay, so I've cut away about 2.5 inches, and I've placed the chipboard about in the center of my mat. So you can see that the white rollers are not touching the material at all. It could be a little bit better over here, so I'm just going to unload this, move it over just a little bit to make sure of that. Well, that doesn't want to load very well. Okay. So this does have to be under there. Gonna have to cut a little bit away more from there. Okay, so I've moved my chipboard over some more. I cut a little bit more away. Now you can see that there's nothing touching here or here. And my rollers are on my mat. So I'm loading the cut mat. Okay, so it's able to do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to move my mat down a little bit further still. to start from there, and then I'm going to try cutting. And so this is the first double cut. That looks very good. No, it didn't cut through. It looks good on the top, but when you turn it over, it hasn't cut through. It went that far. I'm going to try that again, and I'm going to choose 2 double cuts this time. And the setting that I'm using is the same as I had for the shrink film, which is a blade depth of 20. The speed is 5 and the thickness is 33. I'm just going to leave it in that position because I've moved it down in the software. So I'm going to do the first double cut. And here is the second double cut. Okay, so that might have cut through. I'm just going to show you close up that it's not that great a cut. It seems to have not landed in exactly the same place. But again, it hasn't cut through. So it is a thicker blade. It can go further, but it just doesn't have the force to cut through materials like this. See, on the back side, it didn't cut through at all. It has done the same thing on the second try, which is that I cut double 2 times. On the first try, I cut double 1 time, and let's bring that in close so you can see. There is how much it cut away, and there is how much it cut away. It's identical. Here's the first cut, and this is how deep it cut. Here's the second cut, and this is how deep it cut. So it definitely cut through further. The other thing I wanted to say is that people don't want to be spending a lot of money on materials and then have to cut them into pieces so that the material will be able to fit through the machine and be able to cut it without the mat going wonky. So that's another negative point. I'm now going to try some regular craft store felt, and what I've done is I've ironed some freezer paper on the back of it to act as a stabilizer, and I'm just going to put it on my mat. I'm not putting any masking tape this time because with the paper that will hold it in place. That will be fine. So I'm just going to put that into the machine, and I'm using the same settings again. The blade depth is 20, speed of 5, and thickness of 33, and I'm going to do 1 double cut. Okay, well, that's what this looks like, and it didn't cut through it. Not at all. So I'm going to turn it around and try it again with a second double cut. So here's the first double cut. here's the second double cut. Well, I guess it cut through. Luckily it didn't mangle it more than that. I wouldn't call that a very good cut. And in case you're wondering, I'm going to zoom in so you can see the blade depth on the blade. There we go. So you can see the blade depth on that. You can see how much the blade protrudes from the bottom. That's the maximum. The next thing I'm going to try is some craft foam. And I have two thicknesses. I'm going to try both of them. So the darker green is the regular craft foam that you'll buy at places like Walmart, and the lighter green is a very thin craft foam. The cuts that are already there were cut with my Cricut Explorer. So the first one I'm going to cut is the thinner foam. And again, I have enough sticky on my mat that I don't need to worry about taping it down. So this is still on the maximum blade depth. I'm going to do the first double cut. This looks good, but these rollers are indenting on the material. Okay. Aha! Perfect. That cut out perfectly. No issue at all. And craft foam is a little bit different. Usually, oh, it actually went almost cutting into my mat. So craft foam is usually quite different, and it doesn't necessarily cut straight through and you need to just pull it away. But in this case, with the thin one, it cut right through. Okay, this is now the thicker craft foam. I have taped it down because it is very thick. And this is going to be an issue again with these rollers, I guess. Okay, so here's the first double cut. It might be okay with that. Yep, it cut right through. No problem at all for that. Absolutely no problem. And this really is a very substantial foam. It's very thick. The next thing I'm trying is Cork, and this is the Contact brand. Pretty sure this is going to need 2 double cuts. So here's the first one. I wonder if that went through. No, it didn't. Okay, so I'm just going to leave it and do a second double cut. It's looking pretty messy. And it didn't cut through. And as you can see, that really is very messy. The next material I'm cutting is Cricut faux leather sheets. Here's the first double cut. I see there's a bit of cork stuck on my machine here. That looks like it might be okay. Yep, it is. That was able to cut through there very easily. That's a nice cut. The last material I'm going to try is a very heavy glitter material. It's a very heavy glitter cardstock. So I'll do a single double cut. Okay, this is looking good. And that has been able to cut through that very easily. And this really is very thick glitter paper. So then what all of this means is that the deep cut blade is able to cut thicker materials as long as they're not too dense. So I hope all of this has been helpful to you. Thanks so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. See you again soon.